Hi guys, today I'm finally going to be testing out the new Rare Beauty makeup line from Selena Gomez. I'm going to test out the foundation, concealer, blush, highlighter, lippies. I'm super excited. I love doing first impressions with you, although they may not be able to give you all the information you need. It's fun to kind of test it out together, and I've got 2 shades of the foundation, 2 shades of the concealer. Stay tuned for blog post swatches if you're trying to match yourself. And if you're going to want like a full dedicated review on the foundation, let me know. I assume you will. So I will have that coming in the next week or so. I want some time to actually play with it so I can actually review it. So that will include before and after, flash photo, how it looks in natural light, how it looks at the end of the day. So be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed that style of video. I believe that's everything. Let's go ahead and get started. So starting out with the foundation, I did pick it up in 2 shades. I found the kind of guide they have on the Sephora website fairly helpful to match myself, but I guess we'll see. In addition to that, I did try to watch some reviews when it first initially launched. Like, I picked this up the day it launched, but I had some contractual obligations, so I couldn't post this video yet. So behind the scenes, that's why I'm a little delayed on this, but I did pick up 2 different shades in 350C and 360W. This is the Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation. I am NC42 at MAC. Fenty 320-ish if you're trying to match yourself to me. You get a full fluid ounce in here. Funnily enough, this is the first time it's ever happened to me, but I was like, it's $38 Canadian, and I was like, oh, I'm on the American website again. If you're Canadian, you know the struggle of being on a website and realizing a price is in USD, not CAD. But it's actually 38 Canadian, which I obviously thought was a pretty fair price, especially in comparison to some other foundations. So I thought that that was a good price. I don't mind this doe foot applicator style. That doesn't bother me. I do, however, feel like the top of this may get a little bit dirty, like it feels kind of porous, but we'll see. So let me swatch 2 of these shades on my face now. So 350C, I do tend to find my undertone is kind of this peachy golden as opposed to like yellow. So this is the 350C. And this is said to be medium coverage, natural finish, good for the majority of skin types. Lots of shades as well, which we love to see. I feel like I could make either of these shades work. I'll probably try both up until I review. This is also made in Canada. You get a full fluid ounce if I didn't say that. And this is 360W. So I think I could get away with either. This is kind of more on the true kind of more neutral peachy, which I feel like is a pretty good match for me. This would probably be a shade I would have gone for prior. That's a little more warm. So I think I am going to go with this 350C. And again, like I've said this with other foundation reviews, but you know, people are very quick to comment like, oh, that's not a good shade match for you when I'm just wearing the foundation with no concealer, bronzer, or anything. But like, I would never wear this foundation like that. So what matters is the finished look. So keep that in mind for yourself when you are testing out a foundation. It may look a little bit odd potentially just on your face, especially if it's very full coverage. So let's go ahead and put on 350C. I am going to prime my face today. I've got lots of breakouts to test the coverage. I am a fan of a medium coverage natural finish foundation. Those are kind of my preferences. So let me draw that on and see where we end up. I'm going to use a damp sponge. This one's from e.l.f. And anything else that's on my face today will be listed in the description. I think that blends out really nicely. I like the way that shade looks. Let me know if you have tried this line or if you have interest in it. And if you have interest in it, are you interested in it because, just a little bit more on my cheeks, are you interested in it because of Selena Gomez, or are you interested in it because it's new makeup? For me, I'm probably on the more new makeup side. I think that blended out really nicely, and I like the way it looks. It gives decent coverage. I mean, again, I didn't put that much on my face, and I don't plan to try and like cover all of my acne or anything like that. This is said to be a natural coverage, or sorry, natural finish medium coverage, so I don't expect it to do a whole lot for these breakouts. I find if you have a lot of breakouts, it's better just to use your more medium coverage perhaps, and then go in and spot conceal so things don't look too heavy. I don't think I noticed a scent on this. Not really. Just kind of foundation-y. I didn't pick up the primer. I didn't have much interest in the primer. So I think it looks good. I think the color match is good, but it's not my favorite color match, just the way it looks now. But once I dress it up, I think it'll get better. I did pick up the concealers. This is said to be medium coverage, radiant finish, which scares me a little bit. That's beyond glowy and be good for all skin types. I picked up 2 different shades in 320W and 330N. I saw something on Twitter yesterday actually that was interesting. Also, this has a really kind of different doe foot applicator, but it was saying, somebody was saying that basically the packaging was meant to be a little bit more accessible for everyone, as Selena Gomez does have lupus, and there were some other, you know, medical conditions that were in consideration, but then there's no evidence of that on like the brand's website or anything. But either way, this person was saying that they're kind of easier to use, which I think is important and something I had personally never considered. And the idea of accessibility is very, very important, and everybody should have an option to try it, be it shade range, the physical packaging, whatever it may be. And that was something I had never considered before, and I think is important and something we should all consider. So I have two different shades here. So this is 320W. You can see it's a little bit warmer, a little bit lighter, and then we have 330N, a little bit deeper and peachier. I might use both. I'm going to start with the darker one and see where we end up, because my face is definitely pretty peachy right now based on the concealer that I used, or sorry, the foundation. And this whole line is vegan and cruelty-free as well. I believe it's all cruelty-free. I'm pretty sure all the products are vegan as well, which generally they're, well, I mean, that's not always synonymous actually, but I tend to not like radiant concealers. I definitely prefer something more more natural, because I feel like radiant just feels like it never sets and you don't get enough coverage. This is, I'm only using the 330N shade. I'm gonna let it sit on my under eyes a little bit, that second layer, just do my brows quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna tap in that concealer. I feel like this is a pretty spot on match. For my under eyes, it's not super brightening. It's a little bit correcting where it's almost peachy, but not too peachy. I'm gonna need to play around with those shades a little bit. Before I forget, I have cream blush and liquid highlighter, because I know I was about to forget that. I actually did, when you're ordering on Sephora, don't forget to check the beauty deals. It's like right at the bottom, and you get a little code, because I got a mini blush from them as well. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, so cute. Maybe I'll use this in the foundation review, and today I'll use, so that one's the more matte blush. They have two different formulas of liquid blush, which I think is cool. So this is the Soft Pinch Liquid Dewy Blush. I got it in the shade Joy. It's the shade you'd expect me to get, so I'm sorry. This I think is really pretty. I prefer this kind of metallic packaging over the matte, over this. This kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, like kids building blocks or something. There's something about that. But yeah, I prefer this packaging. I think it looks a little sharper. But this looks like a really pretty shade. I love cream blush. If you're scared of it, don't be scared. I blame Instagram for making it so intimidating, as I put on way too much. But don't worry guys, it's okay. Don't panic. You're gonna be like, still looks bad, Samantha. I really like that. I think that's super pretty. Really beautiful color. It doesn't seem to have like, although I think it's more of a dewy finish than it is like has shimmer in it, which I'm glad about. I think that's a beautiful shade. Also, what I thought was really interesting and very smart marketing on their part was showing what Selena's favorite shade was from each of the products. I believe they did it on all of them, because I remember I think I noticed it on this actually, the Positive Light Liquid Luminizer. I got this in the shade Outshine, but there was like kind of a pinky shade that was like Selena's favorite, and I was like, oh, that's so smart. Especially if you're a Selena Gomez fan, obviously you're gonna wanna try what she likes, but also just from a perspective of like, if you want to try the line and you're kind of overwhelmed, then you might be like, oh, I might as well just go with like Selena's. Like it kind of picks one of the shades out of the bunch and presents it to you as a shopping option. And I was like, that's very smart. Like I know when Fenty launched, I think they said what Rihanna's shade was in the foundation, but I feel like it would have been cool to be like, this is her favorite shade, but I don't know. So this is a gigantic luminizer. I got the Goldie one. Maybe I'll put this out on my hand first, instead of going to town like I did with the blush. This looks very pretty, very metallic, but I don't see like major glitter in there. And I've got a lot of breakouts and stuff. I know some people are like hesitant to highlight their breakouts and stuff, but If I had to wait for clear skin to wear highlighter, I would be highlighterless. So here we are. Some liquid highlighters too can dry very quickly, have a lot of shimmer in them. This seems very pretty. It definitely is on the more intense side, I think, but not in the way of like glitter or shimmer, just a very strong wet look to the skin, which I like. To think of like something that I feel like is super natural but very glowy is the Makeup Forever, you know, that soft light liquid highlighter. I love that so much. It's one of the best liquid highlighters out there. That one I consider like a very much lit from within, you look super healthy, maybe not even wearing makeup kind of highlighter. This I wouldn't say is that, but it doesn't have a lot of texture in it, but it is the nature of a highlighter to highlight texture. So definitely very glowy, but pretty. It's on the more natural side of something that is very glowy, if that makes sense. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna put a little bit more blush on. I think I overdid it and then I underdid it. That's what happens to me with cream blush. I put on way too much and then I'm like, oh no, and then I remove it all. As I'm telling you, it's easy. But that's the thing, like, it's easy for me in the sense that, like, you have some flexibility with it. If you mess it up, like you've seen me now do and redo a couple of times. And every cream blush will be different, but I feel like in general, the ones that are formulated now are, you know, fairly easy to work with. Okay, so I am back with the rest of my makeup. I did pick up two of the what are these called? Lip Souffle matte lip creams. I didn't pick up the lip shines because I feel like I have some from L'Oreal that I like. I've got the Fenty ones. I'm just kind of like, eh. Not that I don't have enough liquid lipsticks by any means, but you know, that's how I make decisions with no logic. Okay, so the first shade that I picked up is in the shade Flawless. I felt like this looked like kind of a rosy brown that I would wear quite often. Ooh, very nice. Really thin. I like thin liquid lipstick formulas. I feel like they're the most comfortable and they don't look like paint on your lips. I love this shade. And again, interesting doe foot. Or I mean, I call everything a doe foot. Interesting applicator. Great shade. I love this shade. It's the perfect kind of like, this is my everyday sort of shade. I might be tempted to put a little peachy in the center, you know, that's kind of my signature lip if I dare to say it, but the formula feels really, really comfortable. Of course, I'm gonna need to test a little bit more for wear time, but I love the look and feel of it. I think it's a really beautiful shade. They had a really nice shade selection, but I did pick up a brown. I love, 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 love brown lipstick. And this one is in the shade Thrilling. Let's see how it, oh yeah. I wasn't sure how much pigment it was going to have. It's a little bit hard to tell with the other one because that was kind of like a Your Lips But Better shade. I'm wondering though if this is going to be patchy. So this shade I really love. I do feel like it looks maybe a little bit patchy just based on the formula where it's a little bit thinner. I feel like it's maybe harder to get an even look, but I do really love the shade. So how do I feel about all of this? Is a good question. Let me try and mix these lipstick shades and see what they look like. I don't know how I feel about this makeup. I don't know how I feel. Which I guess is kind of an indicator of how I feel. Okay, so here are my initial thoughts. I feel like, and you'll see in this close-up, that the foundation just doesn't look that good on the skin. My skin doesn't look that good right now, so things aren't going to look as good as I want them to, but I feel like it looks a little bit patchy and it's just a kind of a weird texture, so I'm going to need to play around a little bit. Could be the primer I put on today or something, so I will need to play with it. It did blend out really nicely. I'm fairly happy with the shade range. I feel like with this lip and the lights, I'm looking a little bit washed out. I could use maybe a little bit more bronzer, but I do like the way that it looks from afar. The concealer, I'm not huge on. I don't love a radiant formula. I don't mind the shade on that. I really like the liquid blush and the luminizer. I think those are really pretty, and I think these lipsticks have some promise as well. I will need to test out the wear time. So this was kind of just an initial play around. I will keep testing it out and give you some updates in the foundation review on the lipsticks and stuff like that. But So far, I don't feel like telling you to run out and buy the foundation or the concealer. You know, the blushes, luminizers, those are pretty, and the liquid lipsticks are pretty. Those would be like, you know, if you're wondering what I feel like is something you should try. As for the foundation, I'm just not totally sure. The thing is with foundation is there's so many good ones out there that if it doesn't initially impress me off the bat, I'm a little like, because I spend a lot of time with foundations, I can get a good idea pretty quickly if I'm going to enjoy something, but I will continue to test it out. That doesn't mean that this is crap or I'm bashing it or Selena or anybody. Everybody's great. But yeah, for me personally, I'm not totally sure how I feel about the foundation, but I will need to keep testing it out. So hopefully this gave you at least a couple of answers, or even in terms of like what shades you may want to pick up if you want to test it out for yourself. As always, I'm only one opinion in your purchasing decisions. It's, you know, up to you, of course. But yeah, I will keep testing it out and report back. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!